Avtar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Um, I thought we will do the three prayers today. So, anybody wants to read the three prayers? Throwing it open instead of nominating.
I will read. Jai Baba.
Okay, Jai Baba, go ahead. You always do, but sure, go
I
ahead.
waited for a talk to
Or,
say so. So,
or you, if somebody, no, it's okay. If somebody else wants to take this, I'll move back.
Yeah, sure. I'm just gonna stand up. Yeah, let's go. Shanti, please go ahead. Jai Baba.
I can't see the screen.
Oh, sorry. So sorry.
Yeah, okay. Avtar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Universal prayer. O Parvardigar, the preserver and protector of all, you are without beginning and without end, non-dual, beyond comparison, and none can measure you. You are without color, without expression, without form, and without attributes. You are unlimited and unfathomable, beyond imagination and conception, eternal and imperishable. You are indivisible, and none can see you, but with eyes divine, you always were, you always are, and you always will be. You are everywhere, you are in everything, and you are also beyond everywhere and beyond everything. You are in the firmament and in the depths. You are manifest and unmanifest on all planes and beyond all planes. You are in the three worlds and also beyond the three worlds. You are imperceptible and independent. Given by Meher Baba on 13th September 1953.
Nine, nine, nine. Yeah.
Sorry, you are imperceptible and independent. You are the creator, the Lord of Lords, the knower of all minds and hearts. You are omnipotent and omnipresent. You are knowledge infinite, power infinite, and bliss infinite. You are the ocean of knowledge, all knowing, infinitely knowing, the knower of the past, the present, and the future, and you are knowledge itself. You are all merciful and eternally benevolent. You are the soul of souls, the one with infinite attributes. You are the trinity of truth, knowledge, and bliss. You are the source of truth, the ocean of love. You are the ancient one, the highest of the high. You are Prabhu and Parmeshwar. You are the beyond God and the beyond God also. You are Parabrahma, Allah, Ilahi, Yazdan, Hormaz, and God the Beloved. Your name is the only one worthy of worship. The prayer of repentance. This prayer was created by Meher Baba in 1952. We repent, O God most merciful, for all our sins, for every thought that was false or unjust or unclean, for every word spoken that ought not to have been spoken, for every deed done that ought not to have been done. We repent for every deed and word and thought inspired by selfishness, and for every deed and word and thought inspired by hatred. We repent especially for every lustful thought and every lustful action, for all, for every lie, for all hypocrisy, for every promise given but not fulfilled, and for all slander and backbiting. Most especially also, we repent for every action that has brought ruin to others, for every word and deed that has given others pain, and for every wish that pain should be for others. In your unbounded mercy, we ask you to forgive us, O God, for all these sins committed by us, and to forgive us for our constant failures to think and speak and act according to your will. Prayer for Babas, lovers, and mandali. Beloved God, help us all to love you more and more and more, and still yet more, until we become worthy of union with you, and help us all to hold fast to Baba's Dawan till the very end. Avtar Meher Baba ki jai. Avtar Meher Baba ki jai. Avtar Meher Baba ki jai.
And Meher Baba ki jai. Thank you so much, Ashok ji. Welcome everybody
Thanks.
back to uh, reading
Thanks,
of
Karthik. The pleasure is mine as well.
sure.
Jai Baba.
Um,
Karthik, I would like to read.
sure. With pleasure. I just
Thank you.
wanted to say a couple of things. I think Ashok's
Yes.
voice also sounded hoarse, so same prescription for you. Something to make it better. I hope maybe it's just the morning as well. It could be, but I hope both of you get better soon. Ravi ji and Ashok ji. So
Yes.
where are we in the book? We are actually leaving. Baba is leaving Manjari Mafi in Dehradun, and that's the chapter we are in. And we last read about living and loving Baba, the difference between living and loving. And that's where, uh, incidentally, Namita asked provocative question on how do we bring Baba into our day-to-day lives, and that's how we ended last week, right? With that, let's continue from that point and uh, take it up with two aspects of companionship, right? You're on mute, Namita. Or is it just me? I'm not able to hear you. Can anybody else confirm or deny my problem? I can't hear Namita.
We can't hear
Yes,
Namita.
sir, we can't hear.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Okay, so it's everybody. You got to do something. Now I see you're muted as per the display. Let's try
Karthik,
unmuting
why?
again. It shows as you're being oops. Okay, she has to come back. We'll give it a few seconds and then maybe we
Jai Baba.
yeah.
Jai Baba, can
Yes.
you see me, hear me, anything?
We can't see you, but we can hear you loud and clear, so you can
Okay.
get
Now you,
started.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Two, two aspects of companionship. During the next meeting with the companions, Baba reiterated the points connected with the implementation of the new plan. Different suggestions as to how to faithfully carry out this plan were put forth by the companions. This honest expression of opinions, however, provided quite a few heated discussions. Baba silently listened to this unreserved and frank exchange of concepts and sentiments. In the end, with an air of benignity and brotherly love, he asked them to wait for a few days for his final decision. He instructed Erich to visit Delhi to make further specific inquiries on connection with the forthcoming business in ghee. According to daily schedule at Manjare Mafi, the woman companions later reported, you want to, I can't see.
Okay, I was just trying to show the word that was complicated.
Yeah, what
Benignity.
is it?
I think I don't know how it's pronounced. I hope it's benignity, coming from the
Uh,
word benign,
yeah.
and it just means kindness or tolerance, right? Baba was
Oh,
being benign and brotherly at the same time. Yeah.
oh, that's
You
so
can start
nice.
again from the paragraph there.
About the daily schedule at Manjare Mafi, the women companions later reported. Despite the cold and rain, Baba rose at the early hour of 4 o'clock after Todi Singh and his family left Mani, Meru, and Mehra, did the cooking and cooking and chapatis. At 8 o'clock, Baba would come and ask if food was ready, and we would say, "Give us half an hour to have it ready." At 12 noon, we had afternoon tea, and in the evening, meal would be over by 5 o'clock. And by 6 o'clock, the dishes were washed. In the evening, Baba would sit with us and ask us to say something amusing or relate a story we would remember. We would not read books or newspapers, and not even the wrapping papers provided for packing money later.
That's a quote from The Glow, February 1973, page 11. That's the quote from Money.
I see. Money later.
Yeah.
Hey, Baba, Karthik, in the previous paragraph, which Amita read, there is a lot of practical wisdom. One is getting up at 4 o'clock and having the meals by 6 o'clock. I think if you can, if it's, I mean, at least all of us can internalize and getting up early in the early hour of 4 o'clock. That is known as the Brahma Muhurt. So that's got a lot of significance in other spiritual uh, scriptures as well, and and also having the meals by sunset. I just
Yeah,
thought
very true, very true. I'm chuckling to myself as you say that because I'm in a part of the world that is completely topsy-turvy right now, thanks to Ramadan. I had a formal business meeting at 11:30 in the night. I came home at 1 a.m. I couldn't sleep till 3, and that's because we are following Ramadan schedule. And well, I did put an alarm and I'm up in 3 4 hours. But I was thinking about this whole thing, saying, is this the right? Is this what Baba as Muhammad intended when he wanted people to renounce or fast? Uh, Baba gives a lot of importance to fasting. He calls it external renunciation. It's basically a method of sacrifice and giving up something that's dear to you. So, in practice, what I'm specifically referring to is what happens in this part of the world is they do not eat right from sunrise to sunset, as do Muslims everywhere. But what they also end up doing is they stay awake and active most of the night. Okay, this happens very lot lesser in the rest of the world, right? So in India, not much, but here, everybody, kids included, right? I can hear people playing, football till 3 a.m. Right? So they are up and running, and they are eating, and all the places to hang out and shop are buzzing till 5:30. 5:30 they have a good meal again or just before sunset and then sleep and then not get up till 12 or 1 in the day, and most of the people working in government jobs don't even show up to work till 4 o'clock, right? 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock just for an hour, just for namesake. So I was just thinking to myself, is this what is true renunciation? And I dare say it probably isn't, but that's just me. But I agree with your point, Ashok. All of us should try to see if we can adhere to an early dinner, of course, an early sleep so that we are up at 4. And, and, you know, but again, to respect the region I am in, I've been trying something. I'm eating one meal a day, and I eat it at iftar time. So the last meal I had yesterday was at 7, and I won't eat till almost 7. But I can't stay without water. I drink a lot of water. So anyway, amusing. I just wanted to share this as well.
Indeed,
Good point,
indeed,
Ashok.
amusing. Yes.
Yes, yes,
Baba was doing, Jai Baba, can you hear me?
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Baba was doing intermittent fasting that time. Hmm.
Yeah. So for someone doing intermittent fasting, this is not very difficult at all. So for me, this is not difficult, but I tried staying without water for a day just as a challenge, and it was giving me a headache and all kinds of stuff. But without water, I mean without food and just water, I'm totally chill, no problem. Okay, let's continue from money later, unless
Yeah,
anybody else has any other comments.
but there's no text on the screen, is there? Only me? Money
Yes, it
later after that?
is. Yeah, I'll go
Yeah,
down.
after money
Just
later.
yeah,
Yeah, you go
and
ahead.
scroll down. Money later. Yeah.
Leaving money later recalled that the articles they required would reach them wrapped in newspapers, mostly in languages they could not read or understand. When Baba's mandali, with Baba's mandali, the time for tea and food varied widely during the different phases of his work. In the early 60s at Guru Prasad, Pune, I remember afternoon tea was immediately followed by a cold drink, sharbat. We would pass in a line and Baba would fill our glasses with delicious sharbat, mostly pineapple. At Manjre Mafi, after an early supper, Baba would usually retire very early. After the monsoon showers, the weather became cold, wet and windy. Gohar and Mani fell ill. Water from the well on the premises of the headquarters had such a stink that it would not be used for drinking or cooking purposes. Water was fetched by the companions from a distance of about half a mile. Neelu, one of the inmates, commented on the life led during the period as follows: lack of proper food, clothing, and sufficient quantity of good water added to semi semi what is it semi
Privation.
privation, starvation, physical and mental tension, and exhaustion. With continuous chilly weather during the 6 months of the new year, had Baba down had had run Baba had run down Baba and the companions' health. In spite of this, all had to attend to the duties assigned by them.
Sorry, sorry, sorry. I think I
You're
clicked
giving me
something.
epilepsy.
Aha, I'm sorry. I think I don't know what happened. I think there was a hyperlink in the text, which is very unusual.
That made you hyper.
Yes, yes. We're back.
Yeah.
In spite
Okay.
of
In spite of this, all had to attend to duties assigned to them by Baba. Once Vishnu had a high fever, 103. But the day, but the day his temperature became normal, he had to be carried on a push bike to Dehradun on some important business. Why did Baba, who at
one
Belgaum,
second. We'll just see the footnote where that quote came from. Yeah, it's the New Life Circular. It's the eighth circular, New Life, and it was issued on the 25th of May, 1950. Let's continue with Why Had Baba.
Why had Baba, who at Belgaum at the beginning of new life lovingly carried a basket of vegetables on his head from the women's quarters to serve his dear companions, become so careless? Whatever Baba's intention was behind this rigid discipline and apparently cold attitude, it was clear that the companions had to suffer much physically and mentally too. Baba also suffered with them, and his suffering was not just personal. For the companions, the new life was a journey through a series of painful yet fruitful uh, rebirths. Each time a different aspect of their being would be confronted and revealed. Once you come into the love orbit of the God man, whatever happens either compensates for or complements the innate needs of the spirit, the involving consciousness. The God man, as man, suffers immensely to fulfill his mission, which is to help humanity attain its rightful inheritance of Godhood. The Avatar's life represents the struggle of humanity and its attendant joys and sorrows. And the new life phase stands out as a typical aspect of Baba's work. In spite of such circumstances, the companions would sometimes find Baba in a gay, jovial mood. On such occasions, he looked very lively and even had a twinkle of mischief in his eyes. He would then be seen beaming with delightful radiance. This change would warm the hearts of the companions, replenishing them with zeal and confidence. One day, Baba agreed to attend a sugarcane juice party. That was a very happy time for all. On some mornings, he used to play badminton with Neelu and Kumar. Once he suggested that they play cricket, and that was great fun. There was no regular playground, and the fielders had to run after the ball, bouncing and gliding through the trenches when it was hit for a boundary. On the last day of April 1950, one of Baba's favorite Indian games, Gilli Danda, was played. In the early 20s, he often used to play different Indian indoor games. Sometimes he would explain the spiritual significance attributed to these games. Gilli danda needs a wooden rod, danda, about 2 feet in length, and another small piece, gilli, about 6 inches long, with two pointed ends. In playing this game, the shorter stick is skillfully tapped at one end so that it is lifted high up in the air, and before it falls to the ground, it is hit hard for a second time by the same stick. Baba explained the spiritual background as follows: when a perfect master selects a disciple as worthy of God realization, he invariably strikes at the lower part of his nature, his self egoism. This corresponds to the striking of the smaller piece of wood by the rod in hand to enable the former to lift itself in the air. The egoism or the lower self of the disciple once shattered, the second step consists in driving him onwards towards the goal of self realization. The second ordeal explanatory of the second stroke, which sends the piece hanging in the air to the distance proportionate to the force of the impact conveyed. You want to read the footnote?
Yes, please.
Abhi?
You can read, yeah.
Baba, Meher Baba Journal, September 1940, page 682. Fran, number 8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The old the old life association of the companions with Baba can be likened to the first light torch, while keeping companionship with Baba in the new life resemble the second hard hit. From a different angle, Francis
I think it's
Brabazon
the light
in one of
touch. The first, if you could just reread
yeah,
that line, the first,
okay,
yeah, just read the, yeah, yeah.
the old life association of the companions with Baba can be likened to the first light touch while keeping companionship with Baba in the new life resembled the second hard hit. From a different angle, Francis Barbazon, in one of his ghazals, expressed his relationship thus: how simple was this matter of love in the beginning! Glad night, sweet sleep, and awakening to the magpie's singing. The sun rose each morning as a pearl of bells from the sky, calling our spirits to another day's glad journey. None of us thought that that journey would lead to this bitter helplessness with the stoutest and eyeless palm joined slitter. And
I don't
in another
understand
ghazal,
this line with the stoutest and eyeless palm joined sitter. Oh, okay. Palm joined, as in the helpless person is putting his hands together, palm joined, and sitter maybe in some sort of pleading or begging, and
yeah,
stoutest, I don't know. Francis is sometimes very uh, tough to understand at the first reading, but he's very profound. And I'm sure we all recollect what we read. So he's very profound. So maybe you can read it again. So it's both the hits, the
Yes.
first hit and the second hit that's conveyed in this beautifully.
The sun rose each morning as a
No,
peal
how
of
simple.
bells from
How simple.
okay, how simple was this matter of love in the beginning? Glad night, sweet sleep, and awakening to the magpies singing. The sun rose each morning as a peal of bells from the sky, calling our spirits to another day's glad journey. None of us thought that that journey would lead to this bitter helplessness with the stoutest and eyeless palm joined slitter. We'll go to the footnote.
No, I think now I get it. With the stoutest, as in the strongest, even the strongest person becoming an eyeless, palm joined sitter. So the
Yeah.
helplessness
So,
phase forces even a strong person to become one who is helpless and blind and just pleading to Baba. So that's what he wants to convey, is what take
yeah,
away. Thank you for
yeah,
the
it's
second
very
read.
nice.
Yeah, the footnote, yeah. In Dust I Sing. Yeah,
Francis,
it's page
yeah,
80. Yeah,
Francis
go ahead.
Brabazon in Dust I See, page number
I sing.
16.
Dust I
Sorry,
Sing.
18. 18. Yeah. In Dust I Sing, page number
Yeah,
18.
beautiful.
It's very nice. This is my favorite book, Um,
Sure.
and in another and in another ghazal, he presented another aspect of one's relationship with beloved as follows. May our enemies never know our hardships, yet we rejoice, for we were free men who became your slaves out of free choice.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful. Just read it again.
May our enemies never know our hardships, yet we rejoice, for we were free men who became your slaves out of free choice. Jai Baba. Footnote.
How often does free choice embrace slavery, right? He's
Yeah,
beautiful. I mean, just Francis is
he's
just
very good.
magical. Yeah.
True.
And he says, may our enemies never know our hardships. Because he doesn't want to
Wow.
give up on the hardships that one faces with the beloved. That's not for the world to see. That's for me and the
Yeah,
beloved.
yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah,
We rejoice. Beautiful, beautiful.
yeah,
Amazing.
yeah. Yeah.
There's a footnote, yeah. Same book, page 40.
Uh, Ibid, page
Ibid
40.
means
Yes.
same book as the last
Book,
reference.
yes.
So it's
Yes,
from
yes.
In Dust I Sing, and it's page 40
Actually,
now.
Okay.
Karthik, this
Yeah.
first line is, as I written there, we hold treasures with us, right? And when our enemies attack us, they take away those treasures. So these hardships are like treasures, which enemies should not get to know, so they should not be able to steal it from us. So it is with that sense like
Correct,
this. Yeah.
correct. Amazing. Yes, yes, beautiful. I think we should take up sometime Francis Brabazon's poetry as well, the ghazals.
Yes, yes. I
Yeah.
am leaning towards making a small book for children from this reading.
Wow. Sure.
Yeah, I think I'll do it for Baba's birthday. Um, And Baba had thrice warned and asked the companions to exercise this free will fully before each one decided to join him in his new life. The new plan. On Iriti's return from Delhi, the decisive meetings were held. A brief summary of the decisions taken is given below. All the members of the new plan were to abide by the conditions that Baba set in January 1950 under Plan IB. The
1B.
following 11 members,
So there are three plans.
one way. Yeah,
1A, I mean 1A,
okay,
1B, 1C, Plan 2,
all right,
and Plan 3.
I got it.
So there are six
The
plans
following,
actually. Yeah. Sorry.
the
Go ahead.
following 11 members were to take part in this project: Kaka, Gustaji, Pendu, Baidul, Erich, Nilu, Vishnu, Murli, Donkin, Ali Akbar Aloba, and Sadashiv Patel. At Delhi, Keki Desai's residence was to be the headquarters and the head office of this new business. Todi Singh of Aligarh was the chief promoter and organizer. In his capacity as a businessman, Todi Singh assured the companions of a steady, good supply of cream through his old contacts in Nainital and I don't know what is this
Katgodam.
how do you say
Katgodam is
Hardwar,
near Dehradun. Katgodam.
Katgodam.
Katgodam. Or yeah,
Katgodam must be. Um,
Katgodam.
Todi
Yeah.
Singh's connections with what cream is he talking about? I don't get it.
No, no. So this is the ghee business. Baba did a ghee business. So supply
I
of
see.
cream is the milk cream, right?
Oh, I
Which is
see.
the raw material for getting the ghee. So they're planning the ghee
Wow.
business. Yeah, go ahead.
It's
Wow. Our
pronounced,
Baba is a serial entrepreneur.
it's
Absolutely.
pronounced
Yeah, sure.
Katguram. Katguram.
Katgodam.
Hardware.
Yeah, Katgodam. It's near
Uh,
Ranikhet. It's the
I
last,
see.
I think, railhead in that direction. Yeah, that's a junction. That's the dead end.
It,
Yeah.
it means or translates as the godown
Wood,
of
wood, timber,
wood.
timber,
Timber. Yes.
timber. Yeah.
Jai Baba.
Thank you for
Jai
looking it up.
Baba. Todi Singh's connections with Baba and Baba's love for Todi Singh seem to have resulted in choosing this ghee business. Maybe through this occupation, Baba wished to shower more of his blessings on Todi Singh by offering him opportunities to share some work in the new life. All the partners in this business were expected to earn their livelihood through honest transactions. They were to work as one team. At the start, Baba agreed to provide some money for their initial capital. The amount was to be raised by selling the very property occupied by Baba Party. On the four phases of the new life, as mentioned earlier, Baba declared that he would lead the first three phases on behalf of the whole group, whereas the companions were to carry out the fourth, that is, the labor phase, for themselves and also for Baba. Gustadji and Kaikobad were totally exempt from any type of work. Dr. Donkin, who was getting himself established as a leading physician in Dehradun, was asked to leave was asked to close his profession and to dispose of the things he had in his clinic. As the property, we go to
So
the footnote.
just for context, Donkin was following, I think, 1B, and he stayed back in Dehradun and set up a clinic. And like it's with Baba's plans, after as he was becoming a popular serving practicing physician, he's asked to dispose off, and they in fact invested, bought some equipment, and set up the clinic. I mean, this is we will never understand what these people actually went through on a day-to-day basis being with Baba. Yeah, you were saying something, Namita.
This footnote I wanted to read, the 11, at the
Yes,
property.
property. It's about the property. Yeah. This is, I think, a
This,
reference to Manjari Mafi. Yeah, go ahead.
I see. This property was sold for a few thousand rupees, though the expenses incurred on the well alone were over 2,000 rupees. Baba's first condition was to get money in cash, and only a short time period was allowed for the sale. He hinted to those who had come in closer contact with him during the new life to purchase the estate, but this failed to raise enough money. In the end, it was purchased by a photographer in Dehradun.
So
We
I'm
go
not
back.
aware what happened since. I think I mean, the Baba Lovers or the trust has probably acquired it back. And it's a pity that though I went there, I did not look up the well. I don't know, Sanjay ji, did you see the well? I vaguely remember something like a well being pointed out, or I don't remember. Yeah. But it has a huge yard. It has a huge yard with a lot of trees. And unfortunately, the time I visited, there was rains. It was actually raining, and hence there was a lot of slush, and there was construction activity. So it was many parts were out of bound and so on. But it was beautiful. There was Baba's presence all over. You've seen it, right, Sanjay ji? I remember. I
Mandiri
think you've
Mafia,
been
I went long time ago, 89 or something. So I don't
okay.
really
Okay.
recall. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Okay. Mandri Mafi is again Dehradun. For let's continue now from
The
here. Yes.
Yeah. As the property where Baba stayed was to be sold, he planned to occupy the place where Donkin had his clinic. It seems that Baba's trait of building and dismantling things and plans continued rather intensely throughout the new life. He was to stay at Donkin's place till a suitable house could be leased in Delhi. Kane and Harjivan Lal of Delhi were asked to help the companions if conveniently possible. After Ghani's departure, Baba had ordered Neelu to maintain a diary of daily events. In one of the meetings, this order was cancelled. With the discontinuation of this diary, it turned out that some important dates and events of the new life were re recorded. The time fixed by Baba for the special bhiksha was the morning of May 1st, the same day at 5 p.m. The companions were to be freed from undergoing the first three phases and were to be admitted to the new plan, which consisted of hard physical labor. For the many sittings and meetings of the new life, it can be noted that Baba did not deal with the so called philosophical subjects or metaphysical themes. However, while giving instructions, whether ordinary or extraordinary, and when making casual remarks, whether meaningful or apparently meaningless, he did what was perfectly human and natural. Bhiksha ends for the companions. According to Baba's instructions on May 1st, all the companions got up at 4 a.m. It was pleasantly cold, and Kartik, you have to move. And the early breeze was delightfully refreshing. When the morning duties were over, all the members of Plan 3 wore white kafnis and green turbans. On Baba's arrival, Neelu and Kaka helped him to put on the green turban. He looked incredibly beautiful and profoundly serene. Baba's solemn mood superimposed a gravity on the quietness of the morning. No one dared to break the profundity of the prevailing silence. After sunrise, Baba, accompanied by the band of companions, left on foot for the dry, sandy bed of Rispana. On the bank of the river, Nalawala's and Kumar's family were to offer bhiksha to the Baba party. Freni, the wife of Kakubad Nalawala, decided to prepare a dish of rice called pulao to be offered in bhiksha. The time fixed for the program was 7 a.m. She woke up early to begin work in the kitchen. At about 6 a.m., Freni found that in spite of her utmost care, the pulao was not perfectly cooked. They did not want to be late, and Keki Nalawala knew that Baba expected them to be present by the river bank a little before the appointed time, so it was hard for him to allot more time for cooking. This put them in a dilemma. What would be what should they do? Should they carry the rice as it was for Baba, or should they delay the appointment? Kakobad insisted on obeying Baba's orders, and they hurried towards the bank of the Rispana, jogging along in a tonga. Their hearts were filled with mixed feelings of worry and delight. At the appointed time, they saw a group of mendicants in white robes, with Baba in the lead. Soon the party reached the specific spot. Baba, with sparkling eyes, sweetly smiled at those present, and their hearts rose up as on a wave of delight. They felt blessed to offer bhiksha to the God man, and it was indeed a rare privilege. Baba's loving and gentle glances carried the message of love from his heart to each one, and they forgot their worry about the raw pulao. At the signal from Baba, they brought out the food, and Baba very lovingly accepted the bhiksha. The companions also uh, followed suit. All quickly returned to Manjri Mafi. While going back, Baba asked all the companions to observe complete silence. It made this picture all the more memorable. On reaching their quarters, Baba conveyed to the companions that it had been their last turn to go for bhiksha. They would not be required henceforth to beg for food. Baba would, however, carry out this phase as and when necessary. With his own hands, Baba served pulao to all. He also declared that according to the decision in the last meeting after 5 p.m. on May 1st, the companions of Plan 3 and Plan 1B would come under the new plan. Rainy, after reaching her house, realized that in the overwhelming presence of Baba, she had totally forgotten to mention that the pulao was undercooked. After a few days, when they had another opportunity to visit Baba's place, they humbly apologized to the companions for offering the half cooked rice on May 1st. No one could understand exactly what they meant, for each of the companions had immensely enjoyed the day's food. A few even remarked that it was exceptionally delicious. The secret of the raw turning into ripe remains concealed to this day.
I can pause you. Yeah. So,
Thank you very much.
yeah, yeah. If I can, I just wanted to take a pause and take everybody's comments and also make one comment. So Rini is again the lady that we discussed a couple of meetings back, who lived till recently in Bangalore and is the mother of the founder and editor of Glow, Naushirwan Nalawala, and the lady is called Freni Nalawala. And there is, I think, a recording that Biff Soper did about her experiences, and she talks about all of these experiences, including the one where I think there was another incident where she cooked and there was not enough food, and she was very nervous about that. It just went on and served all the people that showed up, and she attributes it obviously to Baba. So, um, another point I wanted to make was the property that got sold. Now it's clear is the Donkin Clinic, which was purchased for 2,000 rupees. I mean, which was purchased for lesser probably. And, was a well was built in that property, and then it was sold for a few thousands to the photographer. So Manjari Mafi was not sold. So Mafi on my part for assuming it was Manjari Mafi. Okay. So, any others who want to read? We can rotate. I know Namita ji did a great job till now. Thank you so much.
I
Thank
just
you. I
want
just
to
want to,
tell
Sure.
one experience. I happened to be for about 3 years, used to be the weekend food coordinator for our temple. And how many people would come each week is unknown, right? So they used to, because I'm in charge, they used to ask me for how many people we should cook. And we used to say some number. What was the number is the previous few weeks, approximate number. Many a times, what surprised me was it has become embedded in me. The food was low and people were coming, and I used to get scared and I used to pray to Baba. Baba, help me, please, help me, help me. To my amazement, it was catering to the last person's just sufficient food. It did not happen one time, but it happened number of times. Jai Baba.
yeah, Baba, I want to share a similar incident when we were in Mehrabad for Baba's birthday. Karthik was with us. So we had carried some stuff from Delhi to distribute, and they allowed us to distribute it from the tin shed that the other side. And then the line kept on increasing, and I was also very scared that somebody will come and I'll have nothing to give them. So when the last person came, the food finished. Do
Yeah.
you remember, Karthik?
Yes, yes, very much. Yeah, yeah. It's embarrassing sometimes if you have the line still continuing and you run out. I mean, people understand,
Yeah,
but you feel very bad to turn away somebody.
yeah,
So we didn't have to do that. Though it was, I mean, we didn't serve everybody obviously that day, but there was no line anymore and we could just
yeah.
pause
After
our
that, there was no
distribution.
line.
Exactly,
Our
exactly. I
our
remember.
master provider is the master chef. He knows how much to cook and how how long
Exactly.
the queue should be. Yeah,
I think
Jai
more
Baba.
than that, he doesn't want to hurt our feelings. So because we'll feel worried about
Yeah,
it, he made sure that the line took a pause. Thank you, Baba.
yeah. I have to thank you, Karthik. It almost looks in this reading that we are with Baba. We are experiencing these things, and it's so
Absolutely.
delightful. And thank you very much for
Yes.
continuing to get us into this now.
Sure.
May
Thank you
Baba
so
bless you.
much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I enjoyed this, not as all of you. So it's an effort that comes easy for me. Okay, so who wants to read next? If there's nobody, then I will read, or Namita ji, you can continue as well. Anything. Okay,
It's up
I
to
will
you.
read for some time. I'll read for some time. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Up Godam stay, a retrospective view. In the second week of May, the
I think it
companions
is
left the.
I think it's Kottagudem. It's a
No,
city in
that's
Andhra, right?
Andhra. No, that's Andhra. This is
Oh, this is not
Kat
Andhra.
Godam.
Okay.
So
Oh, Khat.
Ashok, like Ashok mentioned, KTH is pronounced Kat, Kat as in timber,
Oh, I see. I see.
Kat.
Okay, got it.
And
Thank you.
Godam is a corruption of go down. So Kat Godam. Kat Godam is the way to say it. So I read again. Kat Godam stay, retrospective view. In the second week of May, the companions left Dehradun for Delhi to conduct the ghee business. The property at Manjari Mafi was already sold. Okay, now I'm confused. Now there's again reference to the sale of Panjari Mafi. So maybe it was sold, and maybe that was the reference to the few thousands and the photographer purchaser, but I do not know. Okay, let's continue. With the first installment of money received through this deal, the wheels of the new occupation were set in motion. Baba, with the women and Baidul and Vishnu, shifted to the house on 29 Lytton Road, used by Dr. Donkin for his clinic. During this short stay, Baba, in a light mood, once visited a circus show. While watching the pranks of the clowns, he felt so delighted and laughed so much that his cheeks glistened pinkish, and he covered them with his palms, as was his habit. On another day, he paid a visit to the botanical gardens and had a good stroll in it with an amusing look, perhaps wondering over his creation. Sometimes he seemed to be seriously engaged in his work. As for the companions, after reaching Delhi, they commenced their hard labor phase. They were accommodated at Keki Desai's place, 4 Hussain Building, Nicholson Road, Delhi 6. On each alternate day, Todi Singh would visit the Nainital and Kathgodam regions to dispatch the cans of tea. With this casual reference to Kathgodam, I am reminded of some past interesting events which occurred during Baba's stay in this little town. It was July 1942, one of the years of Baba's special work with the Mas and intensive secluded hut about 2 miles from the town, overlooking the slopes of the hills, was tentatively rented. The 4 disciples accompanying Baba were Gustaji, Baidul, Kakabaria, and Adi. Baba had asked for the 4 men to keep a 2-hourly night watch by turn. On the first night, through a small window, Gustaji saw a ball of light moving over the footpath of the hills. He was astonished. The next day, he expressed through gestures, as he had been observing silence since 1927, the marvel of the night. Adi remarked that it was all Gustaji's fanciful imagination. Baba, too, did not take any cognizance of it. The next night, Baidul saw the same wonder and related it to the others. Adi began to have second thoughts about his skepticism. On the third night, Adi himself observed a small globe of light gliding along the path and wondered what it could be. He later told this to Baba and asked him what sort of phenomenon it was. Baba, who had shown indifference on the first 2 days, now revealed that the trailing light ball was a yogi visiting a cave situated in that area. Baba also brought to Adi's notice that it was not a thing worth paying any more special attention to. So many wonders are strewn on the spiritual path. Baba has repeatedly stressed that love for God is what matters most, and the rest of the things, if necessary, in one's journeying, incidentally accrue. And this love is to be kept constantly and secretly alive in one's normal life. I take a pause here again to tell you that I went to Kathgodam um, before I came to Baba in my spiritual shopping phase. And I went to Kathgodam because I had to go to Ranikhet. And for those of you who started their spiritual journeys with the the autobiography of a yogi, you know what comes next. The yogi refers to, Paramahamsa Yogananda refers to an experience that happens in the cave in Ranikhet, which is probably an hour uphill from Katgodam, where he meets with Babaji, Mahavatar Baba. He also refers to a light episode. So I don't know if when Baba is talking about a spiritual personality, he's referring to Mahavatar Baba and whether the light visible was indeed connected to the cave. So I did visit that cave where I found it to be really full of vibes. This is, I think, in the year 2013 that I went there. But yeah, I was just reminded of that.
Jai Baba Karthik,
Yeah.
can we go back to the previous paragraph? And it's my desire that we read that the prescription which he's given a practical uh, way out of how to reach God, and it's pure love. I think that's a very significant line, and if you all agree, then we can underline it.
Yeah. It,
If you can just go back, we'll at least read it again.
okay. Uh, you're talking about Baba also. It was not worth paying anymore. So many mandals are in Baba. Yeah, you're talking about this, right? Baba has repeatedly stressed that love for God is what matters most, and the rest of the things, if necessary in one's journeying, incidentally accrue.
Yes,
And
I'm
this
referring.
love, and this love is to be kept constantly and secretly alive in one's normal life. Why secretly, I wonder?
Oh, now you put it
Like,
that way.
like probably how Francis Brabazon in his second ghazal that we read today talked about how we keep it secret from the rest of the world, right? Beautiful.
Yes, it's indeed beautiful, very beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. 1 second. From here is better. Okay. Anybody else on this group that's read Autobiography of a Yogi?
Yeah,
I
I
have
have long
Yes,
time,
I
long
have
back,
read.
long
long time ago. Long time ago.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yes,
think
I have also
it's
read.
one of the, yeah, it's one of the first go-tos for a lot of people all over the world, right, uh, for getting into spirituality. And there you go. So in this group of 10, there's three people who have read it at one time. I mean, it's available in every railway platform. It's available as an ebook and everything. So it's a very popular uh,
I've also read it.
book.
Yeah,
Okay.
Baba. I've
Yeah.
I
also
got
read it. Yeah.
Great. Great. Great.
Karthik, was he somewhere in some plains or was
No,
some spirit?
Baba never talked about. I think there is a reference in Lord Meher about him, which is not very appreciative, or I think, if I remember right, it's even negative
Okay,
about Yogananda. I think he refers to him. I mean, he's obviously maybe in some planes, but he says, I think he's a tantric or something like that. I'm not sure. Please don't
sure,
take
sure.
No, no,
my
no.
word for it. But I remember
No,
researching
actually,
that,
Baba
and
loved him.
on Lord Meher, yeah, Sanjay ji.
Direct talk I hear that Baba liked him actually.
Oh, okay.
Paramanand. Yeah, Paramahansa. And there is a story
Yogananda.
he tells about what some of his followers and his wife was following him, and there is some incident that happens, and they come to Baba.
Okay.
So I don't think it's like that. That Baba made
No,
that kind
nothing
of
negative.
remark. Yeah,
Okay.
nothing.
The,
Excellent.
okay, the reason why I've asked is so many people have read this book, so I was just curious to know. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Devaba. Yeah.
Sure.
it was
Baba, I
popularized by
think
Steve Jobs. That's why I think it's very popular.
Ah, okay.
Steve
no,
Okay.
Jay Baba.
Jobs used
I
to read
think
every
that
day, every once a year.
the from what I have understood is that I think Mayor Baba was talking about Puttaparthi Satya Sai Baba, who had become popular at a very young age, and he was referring to him as a tantric.
Yes.
Yogananda, I don't
Yes.
know
Yes.
whether he
Yes.
met
Yes.
Meher Baba, and Yogananda met Ramana Maharshi, and he asked some, probably Yogananda was in one of the planes. Which plane we don't know, because he was initiated by his guru Sri Yukteswar, who was initiated by the Parma Guru, that is Lahari Mahasaya, who
Lahari
was
Mahasaya.
initiated by Avatar Avatar Babaji, who is considered as a bodhisattva, is 1400 years old. So I think that Yogananda definitely was a sincere seeker. What plane he was in, I can't, talk about that. But definitely, we all know that he dropped his body while there was a conference. There was in Los Angeles where the Indian ambassador was invited, and he was one of the invitees. And after the speech, he just sat down and just dropped his body. And then we know that his body for 14 days, they had a medical report where it had not deteriorated. So and so on and so forth. Jai Baba.
Yeah, a
You
lot of
know, I read
mystical
somewhere,
experience. Yeah, go ahead, Ravi.
I read somewhere uh, where some number of people prepared ground for Baba's work, and they were Vivekananda, Ramatirtha. There's one more person, I forgot. And I think I might have read Yogananda Paramahamsa and what is the Hare Krishna Hare Rama guy? Um, the guy.
Prabhupada,
with
Prabhu Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or the next
Chaitanya.
one?
No.
Prabhupada.
Prabhupada. Yeah.
Prabhupada. Yeah.
I think these five, if I remember right. But for sure, Vivekananda was there. Ramatirtha was there in that list. And one more person was there. And the two other people, I'm kind of little vague. So these people prepared ground for Baba's work there. This is what I heard. Say Baba.
Jay Baba, just to confirm, the book is Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramhansa Yogananda.
Correct. That's the one.
Okay, good. I have the book, but now I am encouraged to read it.
I mean, it's a nice read. It's not. It's a very light read, so you'll finish it. I mean, you'll don't read it like you would a Baba book, but you'll enjoy it now. I mean, today's context, you can just quickly read it as a
Yes,
nice account.
thanks for to the group to have led me to that book, Jay Baba.
Tell us what you find, yeah, when you read it.
Oh, okay.
So coming back, I want to thank Kama for correcting me and pointing out that episode. I think it is Satya Sai Baba that I got confused with. But I have one question. So did you mean to say Baba met Ramana Maharshi? He's contemporary, but I don't think he met him.
No. Meher Baba never met
Yeah,
Ramana
never
Maharshi.
met Ramana Maharshi.
Yeah.
No, no,
I said,
it was that
Kama.
Yogi met. Yeah.
I said
Yogi met. Okay,
Yogananda
okay, okay.
meet.
Yogananda met. Okay, got it. All right.
Yeah. And I have just posted the Irith's talk on the Monty Hall Talks on the WhatsApp group of ours. So anybody wants to
Wonderful.
listen,
Thank you.
I just posted. Yeah, Jai Baba.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay,
See,
so let's continue.
Baba mentioned that he gave God realization to one person in the south, and I think he was referring to Aravind Ghosh.
Okay.
That also I read long time ago. And Baba
Yeah,
also
Baba did
mentioned that
mention he
he
helped
came
him.
up
Yeah,
to sixth plane by his own effort, and which is very, very rare.
you're right. Okay, so if we're done with reactions and commentary, we will continue. The second incident of Katgodam is also worth mentioning. In the mornings, Baba used to move freely on the slopes of the nearby hills. On July 14th, the mandali woke up at 3 a.m. and left the hut at 5. Baba walked briskly, his white sadra flowing about him. After plodding for 2 hours, the Baba party reached a plateau. Here, Baba began to walk fast in different directions. His combed hair that was hanging on his shoulder gracefully flowed back and forth with his quick pacing. As he walked with elegant and authoritative dignity, he stopped a while at some places on the plateau, deeply absorbed in his work. Returning to a flat surface, Baba selected a spot where he intended to settle all alone by himself, unobserved by anyone. He asked the four disciples to take their posts in four different directions at a distance of about 150 meters away from him. They were not to look at him unless he clapped. Earlier, he had also informed them that he might even break his silence. What a thrilling occasion. Suddenly, some unnameable emotion stirred the hearts of the four disciples. Would they hear the original sound? And what would be its spiritual impact on world consciousness? What Baba did under the blue sky, no one knows. But when he stood up and clapped, he looked exceptionally glowing with spiritual splendor. The disciples gazed at Baba's luster and beauty radiating from his face. No wonder that their hearts soared high as on a gale of gaiety. Baba too was very happy, and he instructed Adi and the others to collect some earth from the spot where he sat, and it is still preserved. It was on the above mentioned slopes that the cattle continued to graze, and it was from these herds that Todi Singh collected the cream for the New Life business in ghee. Perhaps too remote a context, but it is a Baba context in Baba time. Dishonesty Baba never permitted. Returning to the narration of the new project in Delhi, the work was really well planned. There were different groups attending to different matters. Some had to go to the railway station to bring the cans of cream. Some had to empty them in the churner barrel. After adding ice, some had to rotate the barrel with the handle provided with it. All this was hard work. The process of rotating separated the cream into butter and toned milk. One group would heat the butter on a big Indian style hibachi brazier, like charcoal stove, to the boiling point. To know the exact temperature when butter is clarified, giving out a delicious odor, requires experience and skill. Todi Singh was an adept in this art. A few were entrusted with the work of filling the containers of different sizes with ghee. They were also to paste the labels Navjivan, new life, ghee on them. Finally, the containers were soldered. Sometimes, owing to the adulteration of the cream purchased or a fault in their method of boiling, they would not get good butter. In that case, to compensate for this loss, the stuff had to be turned into a sweet cheese in the form of pedas. Once, in an attempt to sell these, one of the companions shouted on the roads of Delhi like an ordinary hawker, pedas, good pedas for sale, to attract the attention of customers. Funny experience. Even getting a good market for ghee was a problem. The bare cost of production turned out to be higher than the standard rates of ghee in the Delhi market. The thought of making a profit was out of the question. It was discovered that even the best ghee was to some extent mixed with some inferior stuff by other producers. During Baba's visit to Delhi, the state of affairs was brought to his attention. He did not feel surprised, but the lack of sales resulted in a piling up of stock. What next? Should they continue with the business or close it? To complete with the stuff, sorry, to compete with the stuff in the market, Dr. Donkin asked if they could follow the course of other businessmen. Baba's instantaneous and emphatic reply was no, no, no. Baba never permitted dishonesty in any form. He simply mentioned that he would let them know about the business later. This is about dilution or adulteration of the ghee with probably some vegetable medium or even oil, as is the case everywhere. Sort of was as was the case even back then, I guess. Yoga implied spirit of dedication. May is generally the hottest time of the year in Delhi. The companions sweated profusely as they worked near the charcoal stoves. Most of the time, they would wear underwear and t shirts only, but that too was not comfortable. The peculiar smell of buttermilk, cream, and ghee all mixed together was nauseating. The entire ghee affair can be termed as a pasina phase, perspiring phase of the new life. This sort of hard labor phase had its parallel in the summer of 1924. At that time, Baba was staying at Mehrabad. He kept the mandali extremely busy with the work of dismantling and rebuilding a few rooms at Lower Mehrabad. All had to put in 8 hours of intense physical labor every day in the hot sun. The food they had was millet bread and vegetable curry. They had no weekend off. Using shovels and pickaxes, they had to fill iron pans with mud. At nights, they had to clean the places. Baba would often visit and supervise the work. Once, when he was inspecting the site, a cleanly dressed, spiritually inclined person who was also practicing some yogic exercises approached Baba. He knew that Baba was regarded as a perfect master. The person,
Can move it
however,
up,
had
please.
been. I have. I'm on. Can you see the screen now?
Yeah, we can see it now.
Okay, thank you. I'm continuing from he knew. He knew that Baba was regarded as a perfect master. The person, however, had been conditioned by conventional ideas of spirituality and its usual disciplines. He was amazed to find Baba's mandali working like coolies, hired labor. In his conversation with Baba on spiritual subjects, he could not refrain himself from asking the following question of Baba. He said, I have studied Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, and Raja Yoga, and other yogas too. But I would like to know what yoga you teach to your followers. Baba, with his inimitable sense of humor, simply said, Gamela Yoga. This made the visitor look all the more confused. Gamela literally means a broad iron pan, and it was the most commonly used tool that the mandali worked with. It is not known whether the person correctly understood Baba's words or not, but it was obvious that Baba never underestimated physical labor in relation to the spiritual disciplines that are commonly known. Gamela is a reference to the pan that's used to scoop up sand and cement and so on and carry it on one's head. I'm sure we've seen it all in India. So it's just a pan, Gamela. But it's not a very commonly used term, I think, in the rest of the country. So I came across Gamela only through Baba, Gamela Yoga. Maybe it's more
Maharashtra.
popular in the Maharashtra. Yeah,
That's Maharashtra. Maharashtra.
yeah.
UP, we call it Tasla. Tasla. They call it Tasla.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
In the south, it is Bandli. Different versions of Bandli, Bandla, like that. Yeah. Anyway, let me continue. There was also a time when Baba and the Mandali used to grind floor on a big grinding stone, a chakki, and this period was called Chakki Yoga. It means that anything that one honestly and sincerely feels like doing, or everything that is carried out under the master's instruction, can be termed as yoga for that particular person. Such a course of life will ultimately lead him to real yoga, union with beloved God. Spirituality does not necessarily consist in practicing asanas or meditating for a specified time. It is the way of total living. It is not the outward form, but the inner attitude of dedication that really counts. The hardships of the ghee business in Delhi might have reminded the companions of the Gamela days 25 years earlier at Mehrabad. The Pasina phase, in a way, was the silver jubilee celebration of the Gamela Yoga. Secrets of spiritual life. During Baba's second visit to Delhi, the ghee problem was again brought to his attention. Another point for consideration was that even after making the best efforts, a suitable apartment for Baba's stay in Delhi had not been secured. These two subjects were discussed from various angles in Baba's presence. At the close of the meeting, Baba quite unexpectedly suggested that in the prevailing circumstances, he would prefer to return southwards to his favorite area between Pune, Satara, Mahabaleshwar. It meant that the business in Delhi had to be closed. So, according to Baba's instructions, the companions began winding it up. They feared that it had not been a profitable venture. That was true. By May 24, 1950, they had washed their hands completely of the business by selling all the things connected with the affair lock, stock, and barrel. The money recovered from the sum invested was to be spent by the Baba party for traveling towards the south and on other daily requirements, till the companions started earning money through odd jobs. No one had the slightest idea about the future nature of the new life. No one worried about it. The women companions residing at Dehradun were also completely ignorant about the life that lay ahead, but they were blissfully happy about it. Baba had instructed them to work and earn. Donkin had brought the hand sewing machine from Bombay, and the women spent their spare time sewing clothes. Some would cut different designs from colored design cloth, and this applique could be embroidered or sewn onto a dress to make it more attractive. Money revived her art of making puppets. She remembers that she made a charming figure of Krishna with a lovely bluish complexion and a cruel looking butcher having a black mustache with an open knife in his hand. What a contrast! Through this business and other sundry indoor occupations, the women earned about 300 rupees. On May 25, under Baba's order, Irach wrote to Jal Kerawala, one of the arrangement walas, about the forthcoming shift from the north to the south. Baba expressed his intention to stay in a moderately big town that had a mountain and a river nearby. The climate should be temperate, not hot in the summer and not too cold in winter. It seems that Baba's inner work had some connection with the outer geographical environment. On certain occasions, Baba would insist on a specific site or a venue before making a move to that place. In that letter to Jal, Baba expressed his special preference for the region near Satara Mahabaleshwar. In spite of its heavy rainfall, he seemed to have a special affinity for Mahabaleshwar. The next best place was Satara. On May 27th, Baba sent Irach to help Jal secure the required residence. Irach was successful in hiring 2 bungalows in the camp area in Satara, which was sparsely populated and had a quiet atmosphere. Soon, with the women and a few men companions, Baba left Dehradun on June 15, 1950, for the south, a journey over 1,000 kilometers. The servant companions at Delhi boarded the train for Satara 2 days later. And by the middle of June, the temporary headquarters of the new life at Manjari Mafi were left for good. Baba's activities in the north from November 1949 to June 1950 were characterized by great extremities and tribulations and a challenge to the old ways of living. Baba himself suffered much physically. He did not reveal the reason behind this. Perhaps some secrets are not to be spoken of, and even if the words dared to convey these are not much understood. Rather, such an attempt makes things more confused. Baba preferred not to explain certain things, for he expected his lovers to have the daring to live by faith and love, not reason. Baba was passing through an unparalleled phase of helplessness, which was concealed from the sight of the companions. An occasional glimpse, however, would reveal the grandeur and enormity of the new life. This sustained the morale of the companions in staying with Baba. This was also the time when the companions physically endured much beyond their normal limits, and as such, they had to face inner crisis. Why did the companions choose to suffer and be with Baba? Because they had complete freedom to leave him. A so-called free man, shackled with rationality, shall call this madness, but the liberated spirit of a lover shall regard this as a benediction. To learn the secrets of living a spiritual life, one has to know the art of dying to the past continually, an avenue leading towards the eternal new life. Beautiful.
Jai Baba Karthik, if I may
Yes.
mention the last few lines in the last paragraph.
You can
Something-
read once again
Yeah, we read once again. Yes, Mamaji, correct.
and underline.
There seems to be another prescription that, I found it very profound. Thanks, Mamaji. We read again.
Yes.
Sure,
And,
we'll read the whole paragraph again. This kind of
yes, thank you.
summarizes. It summarizes the phase that the phase and the experience specifically of the mandali. So let's read it.
Yes,
This
we
was
read.
also the time. This was also the time when the companions physically endured much beyond their normal limits, and as such, they had to face inner crises. Why did the companions choose to suffer and be with Baba? Because they had complete freedom to leave him. A so called free man shackled with rationality shall call this madness, but the liberated spirit of a lover shall regard this as a benediction. To learn the secrets of living a spiritual life, one has to know the art of dying to the past continually, an avenue leading towards the eternal new life. Very nice. Any other thoughts before we go to the next chapter and go with Baba to Satara?
Jai Baba. before anybody else speaks, is that this era of hopelessness and helplessness comes to an end, and it's very interesting, amusing.
Yeah. And yes, yes. So let's see what's cooking and what's in store in
I had two
Satara.
ideas about Gamela and Shakti. So Baba
Go
in
ahead.
the initial phase, people to pick out their past and bury it somewhere, build a new future by raising buildings in the ashram and also for their living and all that. That construction of the old structures in Hyderabad. That was the Gamela phase. And the Shakti phase is a more internal phase where the ego was crushed every time by Baba. And what came out of was the pure white floor, the spiritual lightning or awakening. So these are the two phases which I feel can be like to be what Baba made his mandali to go through. Jai Baba.
Good observation. In fact, I was tempted to think about why Baba chose the ghee business, and then I often think about human ingenuity and the greatness of ghee. I'm one that cooks and uses ghee a lot these days, and I just love it. And I think ghee is such a complex thing to create, and it comes from an animal, it comes from milk, and the process that one needs to endure to make it ghee. And refine it to a point where it's safe and one of the best non-preservative based cooking mediums that can sit there forever and you can use it anytime and it's so flavorful. Maybe the there's a message there also in, like you said,
Yes, yes,
the crushing of the ego, maybe the sublimation and coming to the fore of the essence of what is the true nature of ourselves is what is represented by the ghee business. So you start in a very very rudimentary way where you build and erect structures or demolish existing structures, let's say, of the material world. You crush your ego through the Chucky phase, and you get out the essence of what the true nature of spirituality, like one does from something as mundane as and simple as milk to something as refined and as beautiful as ghee, right? Just think about it. Where is
yes,
milk
yes,
and where is ghee? First, you have to convert it to cream. You have to convert it to buttermilk. Then, I mean, first to buttermilk, rather first to curd, and then you get the cream out of it, and then you collect the cream. Uh, uh, a few liters of milk will just yield a few spoonfuls of cream, and then that cream is worked upon to get butter, and butter is put on heat to a particular degree, like they mentioned, it needs some expertise to switch off the flame at the right time, and then you create this wonder called ghee, right? So I think that's a beautiful message in all these things that Baba has done, like we have always observed. So thanks for making that comment. On that
Yeah,
note, maybe we start Satara next week. So I will, if there are any
just
other comments, bring them
yeah,
up.
just if I may, I have been speaking a lot today, but yeah, this whole process of uh, churning milk into ghee uh, also reminds us of or at least points towards the spiritual path where we have to churn our ego and other uh, you know things which draw us back the GAL, greed, anger, and lust. And one more thing, and very profound thing which is mentioned is the honesty, even if it was, you know, at a loss,
A
but
loss.
no adulteration, or this means you try to remain pure in food stuff and not pass just adulterate just for the sake of money. I think that was also there mentioned in the, and it caught my attention. And if we have time, Karthik, can we have a look at what looks like a ghamela, if it's okay with all, and if they have a patience to? Because I'm a little curious to see
It's
if
not
it's
okay with all. How can it be okay? How dare you ask for this? Of course, we'll do it. And we'll also see where Katgodam is, and I'll probably show you the cave as well.
wow.
Gamela, we have been
There you go.
Yeah.
Learning a lot in this group, learning a lot every.
So that's your Gamela. And it used to be like this. I mean, off late, you get it in fiber and plastic like
Yes,
this with
yes.
the same properties. But the old one used to be steel, right? Just ordinary steel, like the
Wow.
one here, right? Like the one in this diagram. Anyway, that's Gamela.
Yes.
Let's quickly go to the location of,
Katgodam.
yes.
Abu Dhabi to Katkodam.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Haldwani is again a place. Where is Katgona? Yeah, here is Katgodam. Can you see it? That's
Yes.
also, it shows the train station. That's a dead end train station. As you can see, it doesn't continue uphill after this point. And it's in the Himalayas, foothills. So it's near, the previous station is Haldwani. So now let's just zoom out a little bit and see. Yeah, Rani Bagh. Rani Bagh and I think Rani Khet are the same. I think. I don't know. And let's see if we can find photographs of the cave that I was talking about. It on my phone, but I don't know how to find it quickly. So it's called Baba's Cave, Mahatar Baba. So I'm sure here it is. This is the place. This is the cave. So this is where I went. Yeah. Dwar Hut. This is also, I think he goes every year. Rajnikant loves Mahatar Baba, and I believe he's met him, and he goes every year or something like that. There's literally nothing in Raniket. Okay, Raniket is a small hill station. And then you have to go further north from there. Is there a location of that? Maybe we can find it here.
Kama stayed in Raniket, right? He used to have a place there. That was the place, right? Raniket?
Almora, Almora.
Almora. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, Mahatar Baba's cave. So if you see this, Dwarahat is the big town. Raniket is here, where you can see my mouse. And further south will be, where is, Haldwani. So Katgodam is here. So that's what I meant. So this is the context for where things are. So in the book, we saw Haldwani, we saw Katgodam, and I got reminded of the cave and we went down the rabbit hole of autobiography of a yogi. Right? So, yeah, there are more photographs here. So maybe we just see it. I think Kama has been here as well.
Oh, that's great. But Babaji's cave is northwards, right? It's not south on the map.
Yeah, not. It is not. So it's uphill. So the foothill is south and everything else is uphill. So Raniket is uphill of Katgodam. Dwarahat is uphill and north of Raniket.
Okay.
So this is inside the cave, and you have to literally trek. You have to trek for the last half an hour to 1 hour. And that, by the way, is Yukteswar Maharaj that was referred by Kama, who's the guru of Paramahamsa Yogananda. And Yukteswar's guru happened to be Lahari Mahasaya. Right. So, yeah, this is panned out location. Oh, it gets snow as well. Okay. So, anything else before we wrap up?
Jai Baba, Karthik, I sent you a clip of Mehra's Money's song. Could you play it?
And where did you do that? In on WhatsApp?
WhatsApp.
Yes, I got it.
Yeah,
I got it.
yeah. Can you please play it?
Stop sharing and then I have to play it with the video. So let me do that. Give me 1 second.
It's been my companion for since I discovered it.
Sure. Thanks for sharing, and we will check it out now. Okay, let me find the file. Yeah, definitely. Here goes. Oh, wait a minute. I have to say share with audio. Include sound. Okay.
पूर्व जन्म का कोर सखेरे पूर्व जन्म का कोर सखेरे मैं तो लियो पिया मोर सखेरे मैं तो लियो पिया मोर मैं तो लियो पिया मोर 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 Hey, Victorio, Piamo, I purchased my banana. Koi kahe karo, koi kahe kuro, liya hai aankheं खोल सखी लिया है आंखें खोल सखी. Then in the end she said, मीरा के प्रभु गिरधर नागर पूर्व जन्म का खोल सखी. The promise is a fulfillment of the promise of past lives. So he fulfills what you have purchased with your longing, with your heart. He fulfills that. He never leaves a promise unfulfilled. It's just for us. Too long. That's the price only.
Thank
Lovely. 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 Thanks for sharing. She's a very expressive and beautiful person.
Yeah.
Money, yes, very,
She
very
has so many
expressive.
jokes. I enjoy her so much.
Nice, nice. I keep forgetting to do this, but before we wrap up, let's spend a few moments of silence. Bring Baba into our minds, and then we'll again call out Jai Baba, and we stop the meeting. अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय.
Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai. Thanks, Namita. Thanks,
Jai
everybody.
Baba.
Lovely.
Thanks, everybody. Jai Baba. Jai Baba.
Just stopping recording, but we can